Hi everyone, in this video we'll show you how to manage and edit transactions within PropertyDirector. So after logging in, click the Manage Portfolio button in the top navigation. So here you'll see that one property has already been added to the user's portfolio. So within the property box, click the Manage Transactions button. So here on the Manage Transaction screen, you'll see what's basically a financial grid showing the financial information for the property for the current financial year. If you go down, one of the first features we'll show you is how to edit transaction groups. So each row within this screen is what we call a transaction group within PropertyDirector. And you can manage it as a group or you can manage them as individual transactions as well. So in this example, the first thing I'll show you is how to edit an existing transaction group. So when the property was originally added, the system automatically creates placeholder transaction groups for common expenses like council rates, water rates, etc. So let's go in and edit the transactions for council rates. So let's click Edit Transactions. We notice here that there's no transactions that have been added yet. So what you just need to do is in the sub navigation here, click Edit Transaction Group. So for this placeholder transaction group, you can specify different options. So we know, for example, that council rates are paid on a quarterly basis. So PropertyDirector automatically sort of predicts this and then specifies the frequency as quarterly. So let's assume that the quarterly amount that's payable for each council rate payment is $450. Now the system gives you the ability to specify the dates of each of these council rate payments over a financial year. So let's just keep them default for this example, and let's apply this from the 1st of July 2022 through the 30th of June 2023, which is basically the current financial year. Now click Update Transaction Group at the bottom and then hit Yes. So you get a short message here saying that the transaction group has been updated successfully. So if you go down to the bottom, you'll see that this council rate transaction group automatically populates $450 payment for the financial year. Click Edit Transactions now. You'll notice that each of these four transactions are now listed here, and you can go in and edit this individually if you wish by just clicking the Edit button, which means that the system is flexible enough to allow you to update this as a group or just edit it individually. So the additional feature that we'll show you here is the ability to add new transaction groups. So we'll click the Manage Transactions button at the top. So to add a transaction group, click Add Transaction Group on the Manage Transactions screen. This is really useful when there's new types of expenses that have come up that you can't quite categorize. So let's, for example, just call this an admin transaction group. Let's categorize it as an expense. You can also categorize it as different transaction group types. For example, if there's an additional mortgage, but we'll just make it simple and call it an expense. Call it a recurring transaction group, which means it'll be recurring transactions that come out of it. You can also specify it as ad hoc if you wish, if you want a bucket of transactions. Let's assume it's a monthly transaction group, and let's assume there's a $100 admin amount that's payable by to the property manager. Now, keep the default amounts here and just click Add Transaction Group. And if you go down, you'll notice that the new transaction group has been added for admin. Thank you.